So my very first day of school was August 15th, 2004 at St. Michael's School here in Brookville. As all of you know from my last speech, we all had to wear uniforms. So for 8 years, uniforms were a part of me and a part of St. Michael's School, and that's just what St. Michael stood for and what we did. That was my thought process until I graduated from St. Michael's and moved on to here at FCHS. My first day of my freshman year was even better than the night before, because I was able to pick out what I could wear to school, and I've never been more excited than that in my life. That was up until one cold December morning, one of my friends, as we were walking into school, one of my friends asked me, "So, aren't you glad you don't have to wear school uniforms anymore?" And my initial response in my head should have been, "Yes, absolutely." But instead, I said no. That day, I really gained an appreciation of my time at St. Michael's School, because these uniforms took the social pressure off of everyone and made everyone equal. This created a more friendly, fun, and enjoyable environment at St. Michael's. This is why I believe school uniforms need to be implemented here at FCHS. A common belief that schools, parents, and most students have is that student uniforms create behavioral issues between students and students and faculty members. I will prove to you and those who disagree that school uniforms will not be beneficial that they actually will help us in the long run. People say that implementing these uniforms will equal problems and conflict between students and teachers for numerous reasons. A 2007 peer-reviewed study found that school uniforms actually increased violent attacks, but actually those attacks only occurred in the most violent cities such as Detroit and Chicago. Students say that these uniforms will decrease their creativity and individualism, and most students hate the idea of uniforms because they say that they're not going to be beneficial to them at all. But actually, they have no idea of the good that will come from them. There are numerous reasons for our school to adopt these uniforms, but some people just refuse to see them. First, other public schools with these uniforms said that they have had a huge decrease in suspensions and disciplinary issues in general, and they've also seen an increase in attendance. A more recent 2010 study by Houston University found that absences for girls has decreased by 7% and boys has decreased by 5% after implementing school uniforms. The study also found that behavioral problems have shifted toward less severe interactions. So that basically means that less students are being expelled and they're rather moving towards suspension, and less students are being suspended and move toward detentions, and it's shifted that way. Also, people who say uniforms create problems and distractions are wrong, because with these school uniforms, kids will focus on their work rather than worrying about what he or what she is wearing, and this would also decrease conflict between students. Chris Hammonds, a principal of Woodland Middle School in Idaho, stated, "Uniforms provide less distraction, less drama, and more focus on learning." So, in conclusion, people, especially students, have always thought the same, that uniforms are a bad thing and they do more harm than they would good. But having school uniforms would greatly benefit us here at FCHS by creating a friendlier environment and an equal playing field for all people. Students and staff need to incorporate these uniforms now, and then see how students will react to them. So, like by my last speech, I said implement them by trial and error, and that's pretty much what I mean. I believe that once students realize that these uniforms are actually not a big deal, they'll benefit the students and the school in the long run. Thank you.
You mentioned that the attacks, whenever they did have uniforms, was that at public schools or private?
Public schools. So public schools in I found mostly in the Detroit and Chicago area, the two that I saw, they had more violent attacks and kids going out and expressing their dislike for the uniforms in a violent way. Yes?
Who would pay for them?
Well, you would have to buy them yourselves.
Oh, people that can't afford them.
Well, the way I figured that, as you have to buy clothes like regular shorts and t-shirts for your kids anyway, this way it'd be cheaper because the school uniform clothes are the same, would be relatively the same price, and you wouldn't have to buy as many of them. Like you buy a lot more pairs of jeans than you would have to buy khaki pants, or you'd have to buy quite a few more t-shirts, sweatshirts and stuff, rather than like just a couple polo shirts. So it actually would be cheaper, especially in the long run.
Can you elaborate on the educational benefits? You talked obviously about the behavioral benefits. What are the educational benefits to
Well,
uniforms?
actually, there are actually a lot of studies that say kids are distracted by brighter colors and such. That's just one aspect of it. But also, if everybody's wearing the same thing, you're not worried about like taking a test. You look up and you're distracted by something that somebody's wearing or something that says on their shirt. You're going to be more focused on your work rather than what somebody else is wearing in the classroom. So.
Do you have proof of that?
Yes, I felt like actually, this is my personal opinion. At St. Michael's School, I want to say did a lot. I guess I did better at St. Michael's than I did doing here because I felt like I was more focused at St. Michael's because one, it was more of a loose environment because, like I said, it was a fun, friendly environment up at St. Michael's, and I felt like I was able to get my work done. I understood everything because I wasn't worried about the social aspect of what people thought I was wearing or like if what I'm wearing is good enough. Everybody's wearing the same thing, so that was one aspect that I didn't have to worry about, and that let me really key in on my schoolwork and stuff.
Do you think that is widespread for all students, or is that?
No, it's not obviously for all students. Like Matt asked me a question last time about like why do kids care about clothes, and not all kids care about clothes, but it's obvious some do, and most kids our age especially are worried about fitting in, and if what they're wearing is allowing them to fit in with their peers, and if not, they tend to be more nervous and not as focused.
All right, good job.